What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Tottenham update to cover what is the mess of Tottenham Hotspur at the moment. And let's start off with the first update from Matt Law regarding the mood at Spurs. And he says the mood at Spurs is now described as being as bad it has ever been during Levy's reign, with players and staff said to be losing belief and hope in the club, in which way the club's direction is going. I mean, finally the players and the staff getting on board with the fans at the moment.
Yeah, it sounds as if sounds though they've been throwing managers under the bus. Now it's time to throw the ownership under the bus. But it's not really throwing them under the bus. It's getting what they deserve, because they've put us in this situation where why would they believe in the direction the club is going? What direction? We're not going in a direction. So I think they're right to question what the club stands for at the moment and what the strategy is, because from the outside looking in, there doesn't appear to be a strategy right now, and it just seems to be leaping from one manager to the next without a real clear plan from the hierarchy, and just hoping one of them lucks out, essentially.
Yeah, and you kind of cast your mind back, don't you, to that Danny Rose interview with The Sun all those years ago when we were at the height of Pochettino, and he was questioning the direction this club is going in under this hierarchy. And you kind of think, like, the more years pass after that Danny Rose interview, you kind of look back at it and being like, you know what, he had a massive point. Yeah,
I think we knew it at the time, but again, it was like he said on the eve of the season, it was just bad timing. But a bit similar to Conte, timing and PR-wise, it was poor, but like what he actually said, I think a lot of fans agreed with, and I think it's coming to home to roost now.
Yeah, it really is. Let's move on. Let's talk about Christian Stellini, as Spurs could be in for their second sacking in one season, as Matt Law says that Tottenham will hold talks over replacing acting head coach Christian Stellini. Tottenham players were bewildered that Stellini remained at the club as acting head coach and have been left stunned by some of his decision making. Charlie Eccleshare says that Spurs are considering parting companies with Christian Stellini, and Dan Kilpatrick says that Tottenham considering another managerial change after yesterday's humiliation at Newcastle, with Stellini's position in serious doubt. And let's be honest, right? This didn't make sense from the get-go. If you want Conte's football out, if you don't like the style of play, if you don't like everything that Conte stood for, then you don't bring in a lesser Antonio Conte, pretty much.
And if Sunday is Stellini's kind of way of trying to play attacking football, and if that's his example of playing attacking football, then there's no point in him even trying to do it. And if that's what the players are complaining about, they want to go more attacking, well, he's not the manager to do it. Clearly he can't coach these players to have composure on the ball and find the passing options and be close together. At least we know under Mason, I know it was short-lived but his tenure, but we did definitely play more attacking football under him for those 6 games after Mourinho than we did now. So it makes more sense from that point of view, but I don't see things changing massively. It doesn't surprise me after that shit show that Stellini's position is now under threat. I think it definitely should be. He never should have been appointed in the first place. And now Levy sees top 4 very quickly, if not having slipped away. He probably still thinks there's a chance, but I think everyone can agree that it's pretty much over now. He's seeing it slipping away, and he'll probably think like maybe another manager mounts. I don't know. That's what he's thinking, I guess. But yes, if that was Stellini's attempt at playing attacking football, there's no point him trying to play it.
If you're the hierarchy right now, are you parting ways with Stellini now?
Part of me doesn't see the point, but you probably. I mean. Yeah, but it doesn't really make a difference.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I totally look. I think that it's a confusing time to be a Spurs fan, isn't it? And like right now with Christian Stellini, no one wants him there, but nobody cares if he's there from now until the end of the season, because the season's done.
It's a bit like Chelsea with Lampard. They've lost 4 in a row. It's like, should he be sacked? Yeah, but there's no point in sacking him as well. Yeah. It's over.
Yeah. Let's talk about Ryan Mason now, as Matt Law says that Ryan Mason, who is a coach under Stellini, is understood had significant support of the Spurs players to take the team until the end of the season. Romano says that Mason would be the favourite candidate as the new interim head coach until the end of the season, and Dan Kilpatrick says that Mason is the obvious contender to replace Stellini or appointment of a new permanent manager.
So we're having an interim of the interim?
Interim of the interim.
Is that the first time that's ever happened?
First time
the
ever.
Interim gets an interim, so we're appointing another assistant, going up the ladder. Look, I'm not going to... I think I think it probably makes sense if Stellini's going.
Mason
We're not going
vibes. Let's go.
If we can't get a manager and Stellini needs to go, then Mason makes sense. Hopefully, he can get us playing a bit more attacking football. As I said, like Mason, when he attempted to play attacking football a couple of years ago, he did a better shot of it than Stellini did on Sunday, that's for sure. And at least he got us scoring a few more goals, albeit the results still weren't amazing. But he did win a few games. I don't see it changing massively. I think we're still probably not going to be getting the results. I don't see these players picking up any sort of fight to get results anyway. So we can sack Stellini, bring in Mason. We might be better in possession, but I still don't see anything results-wise changing. So whatever.
Yeah. Let's move on and let's talk about some potential real managers coming in here. And first one we're going to talk about is Julian Nagelsmann. Once again, David Heitner says that Daniel Levy hopes he's able to persuade Julian Nagelsmann to accept the Tottenham job in the summer. Builder saying that Nagelsmann to Tottenham is now getting hot. Nagelsmann is very much tempted to take over Spurs and is now concentrating on this option. Christian Falk is saying that Julian Nagelsmann is now concentrating on Tottenham. The German is willing to accept the job that his successor at Bayern Munich, Thomas Tuchel, rejected. Miguel Delaney saying that Nagelsmann is open to joining Tottenham. Matt Law says that it is believed that Nagelsmann would want a cast iron assurances over the size of the wage bill and quality of the players, but he would be able to mould the Spurs squad in his image. And Ali Gold says that in recent weeks there's been a sense that Julian Nagelsmann isn't particularly interested in the Tottenham job right now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to get my hopes up at all right now, because I think it takes a lot of convincing. We still need to do a lot of work in terms of getting director of football and dealing with the Kane situation before I think we can have a serious chat with Nagelsmann about him taking over. So I think also Nagelsmann would have seen Mourinho and Conte. They probably also would have got assurances when they were appointed, and maybe we didn't live up to those assurances in that way. So he's probably going to take a look at that as well.
It's interesting because Conte, didn't he say in a press conference once that he actually didn't get promised anything when he joined the club?
I can't remember, to be honest. He might have said
I'm pretty sure he said
might have said
that,
something similar like that. But I obviously I want him. I'm a massive fan of Nagelsmann, and if we do get him, it is a bit of a coup. But we said the same about Conte, and that didn't turn out particularly well in the end. I do think it'll be a different kind of appointment because it's more progressive. He's more innovative. He's younger. He represents maybe the next generation of football management rather than Conte, who maybe more represents the last generation. But I don't know. I can't see us convincing him in our current state. I think we need to do a lot of work and working on ourselves before we can convince him that we're the right person for him.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same, to be honest. And like, as much as I rate Nagelsmann, as much as I would want him through the door, I just kind of get the feeling like with Nagelsmann, it's always just going to go the same way as any other manager would go under this ownership, to be honest. So fundamental things need to change at this football club before we even consider bringing in a manager in or even consider the next manager being a success. That's just the honest truth of it all. And let's talk about Luis Enrique next. Matt Law saying that Tottenham have made contact with Luis Enrique in the search for a permanent manager to replace Conte, but it is thought that little progress had been made in the hunt and the new head coach before the weekend defeat at Newcastle. So nothing really in that update, to be honest.
No, and I would say that Enrique, I reckon Nagelsmann would probably should in theory be more open to Spurs than someone like Enrique, who's older, more experienced, probably wants to less likely to want a process than someone like Nagelsmann, who's maybe more willing to work with some of these players and try and improve them. So I would definitely work on Nagelsmann ahead of someone like Luis Enrique. I don't see Enrique. I don't see him being a success here at all. At least Nagelsmann, I think, with his new innovative ideas, I think maybe something can change. But under Enrique, I think it would be too much of the same.
He's not exactly a manager in like the school of Conte and Mourinho. He's still a new manager and a young manager.
Well, he's not that. He's in his 50s, isn't he? He's not that young.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's not like Mourinho and Conte level. Like he is a more like attacking and progressive manager.
Yeah, he is. He's different tactics wise, yeah. But in terms of mentality, I don't know.
I don't know because I feel like Luis Enrique. I consider Luis Enrique more of the new school, like more towards like let's say if you've got Jose and Conte over here. You've got Enrique over here and then Nagelsmann all the way over here. Mm-hmm. So I think like Enrique's like in the middle kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know if he's taken a job like the size of like Tottenham, like level of Tottenham, and been a success. Like, so I think I've seen Nagelsmann do it in Germany with like Hoffenheim and Leipzig. I just don't know about Enrique.
He did fairly well at Celta Vigo without actually. He
was there for 1 year.
Vigo, though.
He was there for 1 year. Finished 9th. I mean, good. Got the Barca job off it, but it's not. Yeah. I mean, yeah, did all right.
All right, let's move on. Let's talk about Maurizio Pochettino, and this one's going to hurt, guys, as Jacob Steinberg says that Chelsea are closing in on appointing former manager Maurizio Pochettino. Mike Keegan of the Mail saying that Pochettino is expected to succeed Graham Potter as the next Chelsea manager, with a decision in the coming days. And David Heitner says that Levy has made no move to get Pochettino back despite calls from the fans. It has led to the feeling that Levy has already have a manager lined up.
Well, I'll believe it when I see it, but Pochettino going to Chelsea would, I mean, it would really be a good appointment, in my opinion, for Chelsea. I think he would really weave out who he really wants, and because he knows what he wants, Pochettino. He's very clear about it, what type of player he wants. So you know exactly who he wants to keep and who he wants to get rid of at Chelsea. He should really sort them out as well. It's really going to be hard to see him on the touchline. I just hope somehow it falls through in the last hour, but it looks as though at the moment he's destined for Chelsea, and it's a really, really, just considering we're no closer to a manager as well, it's awful at the moment.
Yeah, and it's like when you think things can't get any worse, you know, the disarray that Spurs are in, the manager search, the director of football search, Harry Kane's future up in the air. And now the fans, all they've been calling for is Maurizio Pochettino, and he's going to join Chelsea.
Devastating.
It really is. But let's move on. Let's talk about Harry Kane now, as Matt Law says that Manchester United have started the due diligence on making a summer bid for Harry Kane. Growing expectation is that he will not sign a new contract at Tottenham this summer, and Spurs are expected to demand at least 100 million for Harry Kane. And I got a feeling that these rumours are just going to keep hotting up now.
Well, of course they are. As much as we're in a mess, we know Kane wanted to leave 2 years ago. He's actually upholding his standard still, 24 league goals. Even yesterday he scored in the 6-1 defeat to Newcastle, a really good goal. Like, he's doing his part. There's nothing, I don't think anyone can say anything about Harry Kane in terms of, like, he hasn't held up his end of the bargain for us. Like, he really has, year in, year out. And we keep letting him down. That's the reality. Spurs keep letting him down year on year. He's doing everything he can to lead us to success, but he can't do it by himself. Football's a team game overall, and he keeps being let down by the team. And at the moment, he's not getting any younger, so of course his head can be turned. Why wouldn't it? Any mad person in his position, his head would be turned, in my opinion. So, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say he's 100% leaving, but at the moment, I can't see many reasons for him to stay.
Definitely hard months ahead, that's for sure. Let's talk about Emerson Royale now. This is an interesting one. His dad, Emerson Zulu, he goes by the name was on a podcast, and he was talking about the future of Emerson Royale. And this is the quote. He says, "There is a great possibility that Emerson Royale will leave Tottenham. We want this because we believe it's time for him to take a bigger leap and go to a team that fights for titles." He also said that no proposal arrived at Emerson, but there has already been 4 speculations. He said that the idea to solve the Brazilian's business right at the beginning of the window, and he also said that it may be in the Premier League or outside, but it has to be a giant. I think Real Madrid is the football that best fits the style of Emerson Royale. But we've actually got some quotes from Emerson himself responding to those quotes from his dad today. And he says, "Although he is entitled to his opinion, I have never spoken to him about it, and I have always made it clear that I am happy at Tottenham. I am proud to represent the team and believed in the team that believed in me and gave me the opportunity to showcase my skills."
Fair enough. I see downplaying. I think his dad's clearly going overboard. He knows he was at Barcelona, didn't get clearly.
That's probably like, Tottenham. What is this, Tottenham?
Exactly.
You're at Barcelona.
He didn't get the opportunity, really, did he, at Barca? Because he got sold pretty immediately.
After one game.
Yeah, after one game, because he got bought and then loaned out immediately, then brought back, and it looked like he was going to be their right back. And then on deadline day, he got sold, so he never really got a chance. So he's probably still thinking he needs to go back to that level. But look, Emerson, I don't think is at that level, in my opinion. As much as I do think he's a good player, and he's shown that to be a good player over the last few months, and I do think he's a decent right back. I think his dad is a bit deluded if he thinks he's going to be starting for Real Madrid or Barcelona anytime soon, unless there's a serious improvement in his performances.
I like Emerson, I think he gets a bit of a bad rap sometimes from the fan base. I think he is a very good player. I really believe that. And I think that if we would have had Emerson, we were crying out for someone like Emerson yesterday in the game against Newcastle, that's for sure. And I think that if we are looking to move to a back four, I think Emerson can be a really good right back in that back four system. And I like the idea, like I've said on previous occasions, I like having maybe a defensive right back in Emerson alongside maybe an attacking one with Pedro Porro. But obviously that begs the question, where does that leave Jed Spence? Maybe another loan deal for next year. But I actually think Emerson has showed some really good, development this season. And I'd actually be siding with keeping him on.
No, but the question is he Madrid level?
Is he Madrid level? No,
That's
he's not Madrid level, but he's still very young.
Yeah, but can you see him going to Madrid? If his dad wants him to Madrid this summer, is he Madrid level this summer?
He's not Madrid level, and he probably never will be. That's
what I'm saying. Yeah,
but I would keep him around if I was Spurs right now.
Depends on the manager.
Yeah. But let's talk about a few other players. First up, Pedro Gonçalves, and Record Portugal saying that Tottenham are closing in on the signing of Pedro Gonçalves. I find that hard to believe.
I don't believe it. All these people saying we're about to sign, we're closing in, we don't have a manager
or a sporting director.
So I don't believe any of this.
But we do have Daniel Levy.
Yeah, true. He might be going his own way. I wouldn't put it past him. But for me, I don't see how we can sign anyone until all this is sorted. Like, how can we look into signing players right now? It doesn't make any sense to me.
In terms of him and his profile, is he someone that you'd be looking at to kind of fill that creative void that we're needing right now?
I wouldn't say he's like the most creative player, but he's clearly he's a very good player. Is he the player I'll be looked to creative void? He's like a versatile player. He can play centre mid. He can play in the forward line. I don't think he's like creative like Maddison is, but he's got very good goal. He gets good goal contributions though. I'd definitely sign him up because I do think he's a very good player, but I don't know if he comes in and solves our creative issues. But he definitely helps adding quality to the team.
Yeah, I really like him. Every time I've seen him play, I think he's a top talent. And I think he's like smashing the numbers that Bruno Fernandes did there at Sporting Lisbon as well. I think like if you're looking at Sporting Lisbon, there's always a lot of talent there. And I think we should be closely looking at him and Ugarte as well. I like both of them massively. But let's move on. And the last bit of an update for you guys is on Fikayo Tomori. The Mail are reporting that Tottenham are closely following Fikayo Tomori. And look, he's a top player, and he would probably go straight into that starting lineup, that's for sure. I'm
sure we are following him. He's won the league. He won the Serie A last season. He's English, holds homegrown issue. He's reliable. He's strong. He's quick. He's good on the ball. He's really developed a lot since he's gone to Milan. So I'm not surprised we'd be looking at him. He's going to be expensive, don't get me wrong. He's at a good age as well. I think he's at 24 or 25. So of course we're looking at him, but whether he's attainable, whether he wants to come to Tottenham, a lot of question marks. And I think again, would the new manager want someone like Tomori, and is it a different kind of centre back they want? So it'll all up in the air. But I really like Tomori. I'd like to see him in a centre. I don't think so. I think he's a right-footed centre back, but he plays on the left. I think one of those.
Fair enough. But that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below any thoughts regarding any of the news stories we brought to you today. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always,
come on you Spurs.